And we're live. Hello to anyone that is actually here. We are back. We're going to talk some All In. We're going to talk probably some Sid. We can probably talk about Sid.
Yeah,
Sid's probably the
absolutely.
first one since we've come back that has passed away that I feel like we can probably talk about, where it's not me just talking about nothing. Um, but it's weird because I think he's like I saw a lot of people talk about like he's probably the I know Rich on Voice of Wrestling on the Patreon said that he's the greatest bad wrestler ever, and I think that's a good way to put it because he was what people think Goldberg is what Sid was in a lot of ways, in that he never had any great matches, but it was all show, all intensity, kind of all gimmick. And I mean, I'm sure when you guys saw him, you guys were younger, so he's probably a little bit more impressionable.
Right.
But he was always like just you just saw him and you were like, oh my god, that's a dude.
Yeah, of course. Uh, the Psycho Sid era. That's pretty much what is the most vivid in my memory of Sid, and the brief stint at ECW that I don't think I'll ever forget. But I just remember that guy being scary, like legitimately scary, but at the same time, cool. I
Hmm.
didn't like he was designed to be this monster heel, but I don't know. He's just fucking likable, man. But it's just I like, man, that guy's tough. That guy literally looks like he, eats like nails for breakfast, man. And then they wanted me to cheer. Like I loved Shawn Michaels coming up. I love Shawn Michaels coming up. But if you wanted me to choose between during that time, Sid and Shawn Michaels, I was choosing Sid every time because at the time Shawn was it was a little too much. Shawn was just over pushed at the time because they didn't have much of a choice. But on top of that, like he wasn't cool anymore. He was just really great because he's Shawn Michaels, but he wasn't cool anymore. That guy was cool though. That big, ugly looking dude that's beating up jobbers in like 10 seconds and just yelling at me and just sweating and yeah, like this guy, yeah. The RIP. The best, I think the best squash match wrestler ever.
That's a good one. That's good.
Yeah. The best
I
bad match wrestler seems like a good thing to say. Like I can't really tell you what is the standout Sid match other than the Michaels match at Survivor Series. Survivor Series '96 was the first VHS that I rented from whatever video store it was at that time. It was a Blockbuster, but like the very first wrestling tape I ever rented was that show. And like you said, like he very much stuck out. And I knew the name Shawn Michaels because I played the video game, but I never watched him wrestle like that. So the first thing that kind of came to my mind was like Sid was the guy. He was the tall, like you said, almost scary, but still cool to see. And I mean, yeah, down the line, like we didn't really see a lot when it comes to the matches, but like his presence was still like, at least for me as a kid, very impressionable. So I don't know, man. Like Sid was always one of those guys where not necessarily my favorite, but somebody was always like at the top of the list when I was a kid. And obviously, once I got older, you kind of learn the business a little bit more. You learn a little bit more about wrestling. He may not be that great in my eyes, but still, like growing up, becoming a wrestling fan around that time with like his height, his like popularity, it was a really big deal for me. So I was very excited to see him. I didn't even know he had cancer, to be honest with you. Like that kind of
Neither
came out
did
of
I.
no.
I didn't know
Yeah,
either.
I don't know if that was something that was known, but definitely sad news when it came out.
yeah, I guess I'm like the odd man out on this one because by the time I started watching wrestling, it was 3 years after he broke his leg in WCW. So, and that I feel like that's probably when his main run was effectively over. Because I know he did like other wrestling when he came back and when his leg was healed, but that last WCW run was sort of like the end for him, especially after he broke his leg. So I don't have experience with watching Sid in real time. Um, the most I had seen when I was younger, my parents had got me the WrestleMania box set, which at the time, which is sort of funny to think about now that we were past 40 WrestleManias, and this one that I got was the up to date one that had through 21 at the time. Um, but I'd watched all those WrestleManias like at least 2 or 3 times when I was a kid, and I know that he main evented a couple WrestleManias, and so I saw those matches with Hogan and Undertaker, and obviously I saw clips of the leg break when I found it eventually, and then through Botchamania, like some of this very, I guess you could say, memeable moments. Yeah, like a very memorable character, and I guess the one thing that I find really fascinating is that he was a guy who never, when he was brought into a company, either one of the big companies at the time, and when he was pushed, it was never at a time when that company was on fire. Like he was never on top when a company was doing particularly well.
Right.
Like he wasn't in WWF when during their heights, either in the the 80s or the 90s, and when he was in WCW, it was either they were sort of struggling to come back, or they were, in the case of the later run, they were on the way down. But yeah, definitely a memorable guy, and yeah, very sad that he passed away.
I think like what you were saying, I think the thing is he was the guy that everyone always thought could be the guy to like turn your business around, and he was just not that guy. The thing, and Markeem talked about it, I will never forget that ECW run, because if you think about Sid showing up in ECW, if you told somebody today and they were like, yeah, Sid showed up in ECW,
they probably booed the shit out of him.
They were like,
no.
Nope. They went
No.
absolutely. He was one of the most over guys. Like, he showed up. I mean, all he did was show up, squash people, powerbomb people. That's all he needed to do. Those fans went crazy. I think that says a lot, because there's a lot of people that would be in that same mold as him. Like, if Kevin Nash showed up, I don't think that
they would have booed the fuck out of Kevin Nash, man.
Maybe if like the Undertaker as Mark Callis showed up, maybe they wouldn't have booed him. Maybe.
I'm not even sure about that.
I'm not sure. But
this means showing up in ECW, man.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like I don't know another guy that would fit that mold that wouldn't be. But I think that talks about his aura. That talks about just that he, like Markeem said, he looked like the coolest dude. He looked like a guy that should be the guy. And probably if he had come maybe even 10 years before, he probably would have been that guy. But he probably would have been like Hulk Hogan in some ways, because he had that much charisma, and he just wasn't. By the time he came along, you'd already started seeing kind of like a shift. Yeah, the shift kind of changed in what people wanted. So, and you had really good big men then too, because you had Undertaker, you had Vader. You had Vader.
You had Bam Bam. You had
good, legitimately really good big men. So, but that's kind of what I have to say about that.
And it says a lot. It says a lot too that in that both WWF and WCW still pushed him and still put their world titles on him after he nearly stabbed Arn Anderson to death with the scissors in England. So it says a lot that even after that, it was like both companies brought him back, and yeah, like obviously they both companies put their world titles on him at various points, and he headlined some of their biggest shows. He headlined WrestleMania twice. He headlined Starrcade, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, even with some of the trouble that came with him, they still, saw him as being valuable enough to put at the top of the cards.
One thing I just taken away by the ECW run, this is like the smartest fan base in all of wrestling at the time. Like, we all are snarky and we know better. Hell, I knew better. We all knew better. I was a kid and I pretty much knew better. But I don't know, man. Judge Jeff Jones would come out and point to the entranceway, and it was something about, I don't know. I don't know. And it was like from day one, he didn't have to get over. He came in over. It was really weird, man. But he was over. It was
yeah, because you would think that, like, I don't know. I would love to hear Heyman talk about that and find out if he thought he would be over, or if he thought he would bring him in, he would get booed, and then
they have to pivot, but not.
And they would have to, like, yeah. And then he came in and they didn't, and then he just kind of, he just kind of ran with it.
Or if he even expected that.
Yeah, like what did he expect? If you can trust, what he would say.
Right, for sure.
But I would be interested in knowing that. But yeah,
Yeah, sad news, man.
I have. I know his. And the other thing that you guys might be too young to know about this, but he apparently loved softball. That was one of always like the jokes. Apparently, he loved
Yeah.
playing. That he loved playing softball for some reason. He was probably good at it because he was tall and big and could probably, you know, pretend
I
he
did
was
not
playing
know
baseball.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and this death comes off of we just lost Alpha last week, and the week before was Kevin Sullivan. So
Yeah.
hasn't been a great time for notable
No.
wrestlers passing
No.
away. So
No, I'm glad that like especially with Kevin Sullivan because I don't think a lot of people really understood his.
Oh yeah, he passed. We didn't have a show that week, did we?
Yeah, no, we didn't. Because a lot of people I don't think really get like I think they know him from like later WCW and like a lot of like the 80s stuff people don't know, but apparently people have been talking about that, which is good because he was really good. And then Alpha's a little like just as I was watching would have been when he was probably getting out, but his influence on wrestling is very large. So, but yeah,
didn't they pass like right after each other? The Wild Samoans.
Sika, yeah.
That's
Sika was like
man.
the end of June, I think.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right. So on to better topics. I guess we should talk about All In. So one of the things, and I'll just talk about this now. One of the things we probably will start doing when we start reviewing shows is Dan apparently and one of his buddies does this thing where they talk about like when they review matches. I think it will be unique. I'll put it that way, where you basically say like what like as a mark, as a fan, who do you want to win? Or what do you think? What do you want to see happen? And then as if you were betting on it, who would you think would happen? And then as the booker, what would you do? So yeah, and then rate what you think the match, how much you think you will enjoy the match. So I think
we're gonna do this before the shows are happening.
Yeah, before the matches.
I like that. I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
He had me do it for All In, and I was like, oh, as soon as he saw, I was like, oh, we're stealing this. So that's Dan's. That's Dan's contribution.
Contribution.
Yeah, contribution to the show. He just wanted to make sure that we gave him a shout out. But of course, we were going to give him a shout out. He would be on here if he was able. So, but I'll start. We'll just kind of give my overviews. I thought the show is a weird AEW show because it was, and I say that just as an AEW show because Joe and Rich really put this really good where they talked about the fact that this was a big arena show and it was AEW doing a big arena show. So like the matches weren't like what you would expect from AEW, but they worked in a big arena. They worked in a big stadium. They worked. And that was one of the things that like, if you go back to the 90s with New Japan would play, the domes and they would play these big places and the shows would be very different than when they would play smaller shows where the juniors are you usually had more juniors on the show and they were, from a wrestling in-ring standpoint, those were better shows, but the pomp and circumstance and everything from those like New Japan shows were just made those shows like seem like a bigger deal. They came off better. I think this is very much like one of those where I think you had great matches on the show, but not as much as you usually do on an AEW show. So I think that would be kind of my takeaway.
Who wants to go next?
You go.
Okay, Sean,
I would say that there were 3 great matches. One of them I would say is definitely going to be in my top 10 for match of the year. I don't think it'll be my match of the year personally, but I think it's definitely going to make my list. So 3 great matches, and then while there was other stuff that I thought was really good, there was a big drop off in terms of like how I rated the matches for me from those top 3 to that next level. So 9 match main card, 3 of them were I thought excellent. Most of the other stuff was pretty good. 2 matches were I wouldn't call them downright bad or outright bad, but they were either average or below average. And then the stuff on the pre-show I thought was all perfectly fine for a pre-show. So an enjoyable show. I wouldn't say it was the best AEW pay-per-view this year. I definitely wouldn't say that. And I think if I'm comparing, I feel like I'd have to look back again. I feel like that I would prefer last year's undercard to this year's. Just if I'm just thinking off memory, just trying to remember what last year's undercard.
That main event last year.
Definitely.
Oh, did we leave Sean?
Oh, yeah, Sean froze.
Yeah, Sean froze.
Look at
No, I'm
look at his face.
I'm right
Oh,
here.
you're here. Okay. You kind of froze for a second.
I don't know, man. Like, I like this show more than last year, personally. Like, I didn't go through the card, but just remembering stuff off the top of my head, like, I thought the undercard for this show was probably just as good, maybe even a little bit better, just because some of the matches stood out a little bit more. Like, I think some of the matches for All In last year in the moment were very good, but I haven't revisited any of those. Like, I think mainly just like Punk and Joe. Other than that, like, I can't remember anything else that I revisited on that show. Versus this one, I think there are a couple matches that kind of outshined the majority of the stuff that was on last year's show. I don't necessarily know what you were saying, Josh, as far as like this being AEW doing a stadium show, and it's like I'm trying to wrap my head around what you're trying to say with that, because if I took this show and put it in an arena, like I don't know how much it would change, like what would be different about it.
I do.
It would. I think I think some of it wouldn't come off as well.
I agree with like the popping circumstance, like the bright lights and everything, but the matches itself.
I think like I think something like Tony and Maria, I think would have come off not as well in a smaller arena.
That's fair.
I think something like
maybe like the finish to like Ospreay MJF or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that last 5-minute stretch or something may have not come across as great in the arena setting versus the stadium.
I think in a smaller setting, I think Darby, I think you would have seen more of the problems with Darby and Jack Perry of it being so short and like them rushing through it. I think you would have seen more of it. I think a lot of the added drama, which I still think was good, of Swerve and Brian, I think would have come off not as well in a smaller arena. But things like that.
Right, for sure. I would say the one thing that kind of sticks out, I'm very disappointed in AEW that they didn't promote how big the show was. Like, to have 50,000 people, like, I get it. Like, it wasn't the 80,000 that we had last year, but like that's still an achievement to put 50,000 people in a stadium. You think about how hot WWE is right now. 2 years ago, they had a stadium show scheduled publicly that they had to cancel because they couldn't sell enough tickets. And you are nowhere near AEW I'm talking about. You're nowhere near where WWE is at that point, or even now, obviously. And to put 50,000 people in a stadium and not talk about that, like not make it a big deal, it's a little disappointing, honestly. Like, I felt like they should have made way, way bigger. And I get it. You don't want the trolls and everything, but those people are going to say stuff regardless. Like, so who fucking cares what they're going to say? So I was disappointed in regards to that. They didn't really hype this show up like they could have in regards to what they were able to do business-wise, put people in the seats and everything. But the show itself, I enjoyed it for the most part. Like I thought it was a
I
really
still
fun
think
show.
it was. I think one of the issues is that we always talk about this with AEW shows is that the AEW shows have such a high standard that when a show is just when a show just great, when it's just great, it seems kind of like lackluster, and that's kind of that's their problem. That's not fair, but it's kind of like the standard they've set. but
Yeah.
But we should probably
stuff could have been better on the show,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I had a really good time watching it.
Did you guys
I
watch
wish. Hold on, John, I didn't get my thoughts.
Yeah, he didn't.
Okay.
I wish they could stay in the UK forever. Those are the best fans in wrestling. That was an arena full of people like us, and I loved it. They got into the matches. They understood that when things were referenced, they understood the gravity of things. All that stuff. They were wrestling fans, man.
Like
I love those fans.
The Nigel Zack Sabre pop.
Yes, man.
That pop. Like not just them popping that Nigel came out, but the fact when they were both in the ring standing off and you got that pop that they got, that to me was
that was
awesome.
cool.
I mean, it bothered me they didn't pop for the Jawbreaker lariat, but I let it go. But for the most part, the rest of the night, they were perfect. As far as the show itself, the high-end stuff for me, like the main event, which we'll talk about, we'll talk about it. But like the high-end stuff on this is so great. And then I feel like nothing on it was bad at all, except one match, and we'll talk about that. And it's not even what y'all think. It's not what y'all think.
Yeah, we already know what you're talking about, but yeah,
it's not what y'all think. But other than that match that I thought was bad, I thought everything else on it was at least good. I actually like this way more than last year. I kind of don't understand when I hear people say, I feel like last year's was just as good. I'm like, maybe I'm just so jaded by how much I hated that main event. That's what it is.
Main events will change the way you see things because you leave in a different, like, best example I can give is
WrestleMania 25. WrestleMania 25.
Oh, geez,
like we were all so high after like Shawn and Taker, but then when like we were leaving, like people were pissed. People were not in a good mood. And that's still you go back and you look, and it's not a bad show from start to finish. But
even the three-way match that followed them, they somehow did their thing.
Really
like, it was a good match. They had the story to bring it home with that main event, and it was just boring.
It was boring. Very, very. It was a.
They put that stip on the match, and it sucked the life out of everything, which was stupid. But
yeah. But you guys watched the pre-show?
I didn't see a minute of it.
I did.
You did?
Caught some of it.
Awesome. Like my biggest takeaway from this, like the two tags were definitely there to just get everyone on the show, which I think is fine when you're talking about like because you put them on the pre-show, you did not put them on the show. Like WWE
could have did this last year though, Tony Khan.
Yeah, they could have, and they didn't, and that was a mistake.
Why they have like a bullshit women's battle royal or something like that? Like, who cares? Just let them go out there and do something and get people on the show,
Yeah, and then, but I did think it was weird, and I guess I'm the only one because everyone was like, "Oh no, I everyone I guess thought Willow and Ishii were gonna win, and I kind of thought they shouldn't win because to
heel.
me,
I'm with you, Josh. That's the heel. Like it would make more.
But
sense
everybody is like, "Oh no, we figured they were gonna win," and I'm like, "Man, they shouldn't win. They shouldn't win.
Yeah,
but the heel should be the ones picking the stip." So.
I think if Stat had any partner other than Stokely, they probably would have won. Like I think if Trent wasn't hurt, I think Trent would have absolutely been in the spot, and in that case, they probably would have won. But
it would have been neat to bring like a surrogate from have Stokely say he hired some surrogate from like New Japan, just whomever, Evil or somebody, I don't care who it is, or Great O'Khan or something like that.
Luke Jacobs.
And just and then from there, then they can be able to win the match. But
As soon as they put Stokely in there, you knew he was getting pinned by Ishii. Like there's, and for me at least, there was no other finish. Just
But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was fine. And then I thought the tag matches were fine. I find it weird that the 16 man that was really just kind of thrown together was a lot like not as chaotic as that tag match. That tag match got really, really chaotic with the Von Erichs and what was in that?
Oh,
In
and
a
Sammy
bad way?
and Brian Cage had the same
Yeah.
had the same colors and everything.
Yeah.
They can turn that into something, just like have a match or something off of it.
Yeah.
So man, you know what I fucking hated over the last couple of weeks? Where did this wave of people needed to have their Wimbly moment? When did that start?
Oh my god!
Because
I
they
was
kept
waiting to
hitting
bring
in
that
the
up.
head
Thank you, Brendan. I
over
was waiting
and
to bring it
over.
up.
People having their Wimbly moment. I bring this up because Saraya wanted to have hers, even though she had it last year. Where did this come from? And it's so annoying that they keep bringing it up.
Because
It's
It's because they
you know
because
where
they-
it came from.
because
And
there's
I hate that they
27
do it.
there's 27 people apparently in
Mhm.
in Tony Khan's ear instead of like 3 or 4 like there should be. Like it should be just 3 or 4 people that he should be like. Everyone else would be like, I don't care what you say, whatever. And it should be 3 or 4 people, and because you have a bunch of people that only know how WWE does things and thinks that, oh well, that's the way you have to do things. That's the other thing is he needs anybody when like he hires somebody. I get you're gonna hire people that have been in WWE. Not that everything WWE is bad.
right. And so many people go through that. You can't just say no to everybody.
Right.
You know.
But you do have to sit there and go, no, we need to be a little different. No, we need to be like
A
I'm
lot
sure that's
of
where,
different, not a little different, a lot of different.
but
Triple threat matches and Wimbly moments and man, Jesus, man, you're AEW. You are All Elite Wrestling. Why are you doing this? Why do you feel the need to quote Michael Cole? I just don't understand it. I felt like Excalibur was Michael Cole, and then he was getting on my nerves all night too because he was doing that thing that Michael Cole does where he doesn't shut the fuck up. I don't know why he was doing that. Like, what happened? What happened to you, man? What's going on? Is somebody in Excalibur's ear? Like, what changed?
Maybe you got that new production guy. Maybe he's like, oh no, this is the way we need to do it.
Is it just me? He doesn't shut up now. He doesn't shut up at all.
He's always been like that.
But it's real bad now, though, Josh. It's real bad, man.
I mean, I'm a low man on the totem pole when it comes to him anyway. So.
Oh my god, we've been doing this for like 20 years now, Josh. Come on. Josh was the lone man going. Excalibur was bad in PWG, y'all. That guy was saying that. That guy right there. Come on, man.
I didn't like the comment. That took me out of the show.
Jamie Hayter came back.
Yep.
I didn't really have an issue with her. I didn't have an issue with it being on the pre-show. I thought
it fit.
I thought it fine. Like that would have been so goofy bringing Saraya out on the pay-per-view just to. And
you didn't have time to put her on the pay-per-view either without like
that's true.
That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
So
what is she linked to at all? Like on the main show, is she linked to anything at all that's going on?
Well, she's wrestling Harley Cameron.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, on tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, and she probably can't do anything with Brit because reasons.
They don't like each other.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Where did that come from?
Anyways, okay. So we started the show with the trios ladder match. I thought we would get the.
I don't remember shit in this match. I liked it.
There wasn't a lot to it. I mean, like we came on here and said, oh, AEW usually has really good, great ladder matches. This felt like every other ladder match ever. To me,
I liked it in the moment, but like I couldn't tell you any spots or
the one thing.
That
I definitely remember is just remarking at how short the ladders were.
Yes,
or at least how short the ladders seemed.
Yeah.
and then it was like they brought up that one giant ladder that was taller than the belts were hanging from. So, yeah, that was interesting. But I thought the match was good, but it wasn't like crazy or anything. It was just sort of
It was a very paint by the numbers ladder match.
Yeah, compared to the one for Brit and Door, this one was far lesser than that one.
Yeah, this was.
I agree.
It was. You had the one. The only spot I really remember is that over the top. Where was it? Over or through the ropes? Tope into the Canadian Destroyer in the table.
Yeah.
Nick Wayne did.
Nick, yeah.
I didn't really like it though because it was so contrived, man.
Yeah.
He was
that's a
setting it up,
contrived
looking
move to
around,
begin
and
with.
then,
This is a contrived move to begin with. That was a big topic on Twitter. People were saying it about Brit doing the what's Cole's move? What's it called? Panama Sunrise.
Yeah.
And it was like
that well.
It was like Mercedes doing all the work. It was like, have you never seen a Destroyer before? Like,
right.
One of the most contrived moves of all time. Yeah.
Right. But yeah,
we'll talk about that, Brandon. We will talk about that, Brandon.
We'll just all just
remember you said you don't care about this. That's what you said.
But yeah, I thought the match was good. I thought it was.
The winners were cool. Pat getting his Wimbly moment,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
His Wimbly moment. At least this was not his championship match. Apparently, they announced right before we went live that they're doing Pac and Ospreay. That match will be.
That'll be great.
That'll be.
That'll be way better than that. Was it? They had that 30-minute draw. What was that? Was that
that's in Rev Pro? Yeah,
Rev Pro. Yeah.
They fucked it up. How do you fuck up Pac versus fucking Will Ospreay? Jesus, man. Oh, I know why. Because politics. Pac didn't want to lose because he was the Open Dream Gate champ at the time.
Yeah.
And he would probably have to lose, so that's why they did that. But it was so great until the overbooking at the end. It was like it was trending to be like something really, really special. And then it just turned into chaos at the end. But this one should be even better because even Will Ospreay is even better than he was then. So
should be, and I think they have something to like. I think they'll have something to prove a little bit. So then we had the women's title match. I thought this was weird. I thought it was a weird spot for this. I felt like the Brit and Mercedes match should have been here.
You
just
know what the deal is.
I know what the deal is, but still, I just like.
I agree with you. I agree. Yeah.
I think when you originally set out the card, I think this is where you put those two matches. But I think, given even with the build of this match not being as great as we thought it was going to be, I still think you had to switch those matches because I think people were still more into this than they were the other women's match. So, but that's just kind of me. And I thought it was
a pretty good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it. Like,
am I higher on this match than all of you?
What?
I just the women who go out there and hit each other in the face, like I'm all about it. Like, and that's what they did. I don't give a damn about. I have not cared about anything Thomas, Tony, Mariah May since the very start. Like I said on Twitter, like I enjoyed those two face-to-face promos that Mercedes and Brit did more than the entire story of this Thomas Tony thing. But I was excited for this match because I knew that they were going to go out there and put the work in. And I thought they did. And I really enjoyed this match.
No, it was really good. It just wasn't like Cage Match has it at like an 8. I don't know about that. But
what's that equal? Like 4 stars or something like that?
Yeah.
4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where I went. That's where I was at. I was right at 4 with it. What really dictates to me how you come away from the match is how you feel about how it ended. Because if you thought that was too much, and I get it, I could see how that would like damper your enjoyment. I thought they did almost too much and then ended it right where it got, too ridiculous. Because she obviously the story of this is that Toni Storm is hurt. Like we can say what we want about Timeless Tony. But one thing that she does way better than somebody else is convey their character, right? Convey their character. Her character is hurt. She's angry. She's feeling all these sorts of things. She don't want to hurt this girl she actually care about. So I liked it. And then the crowd is into that, what can I really say? You know what I mean? What can I really say? So right when it was going too far, they ended it. And I thought everything before that, Mariah May was nasty. I thought this is what we would get with her character because I know she's this character. Like they keep showing, they keep showing Mina Shirakawa. I hated that in the crowd, but what made that so ironic is that those two, again, like they were super attractive women that are fucking nasty and evil and vicious and all that stuff. I thought that was what Mariah May would be, and she finally wasn't in this match, and the crowd loved it, man. She fucking, like you said, she slapped her mama. She slapped her. It was all great, man. It was all great. I
will
really
say,
love this match.
You brought up Mina Shirakawa, another WWE thing. In the middle of the match, they showed her and they gave her a name graphic in the middle of the match. Are you kidding me? Like, we've been watching the show. We know who Mina Shirakawa is.
We know who she is.
Right, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
the subtlety hammer.
The one thing I would say, and I guess in somewhat of a retort to Markeem, is that if she was struggling to sort of hurt Mariah here, then why did they do so many angles where Tony was like jumping Mariah in the ring, jumping her on the
because she's mad. She's mad. This was the first time she was like alone, like face to face with her, emotions cleared, all that stuff. That's why it was hard for her. You know what I mean? She like in the moment she's angry. She's like it's just happened. These wounds are fresh. You know what I mean? Now they're not so fresh anymore. She sees this girl that she don't want to hurt. She don't really want to hurt her. She just hurt. She's sad.
The shoe spot is the only thing. Like if you take that out, I would say it's a great match, but it's the only thing that really kept me from calling it a great match. So I still really enjoyed it because you did have the shoe spot, but then right after that, Mariah like knees her like right in the face.
Hard as hell, just hard as fuck.
Oh yeah, she caught it too.
Yeah.
That's why I said that shoe spot is going to dictate how you feel. About it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it takes a little bit away from the match on the whole, even though I still
I get it, Sean. I get it, brother. I usually hate shit like that, but I get it. I get it.
All right.
Josh, did you like it?
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah. Like it was not what I thought we were gonna get. Like it was what let me think it back. It's what I hoped we would get. I wasn't sure if we were gonna get it. Tony's chest was just red as shit by the end of that match. I didn't like the ending, but I didn't like I was fine with the shoe spot. The shoe spot's not what bothered me. It was I thought when they got to the closing that final closing sequence with the basically winning with a roll up, I wasn't a fan of that. After you had done all that and just. I would have rather heard.
What are you talking about? She hit the Storm Zero, and she.
But then she kicked out, and then she did the.
This guy, man. This guy.
But that's a very minor point. I thought they told the story very well, especially since this is just the first match. It's evident that it was. I think a lot of people wanted it to be like, let's get this match. Let's do the feud ending match here. Definitely not what we're getting.
Oh no,
that'll be something.
This is going.
Yeah, this is going for a while. So I think that probably affected some people's opinion on it. I thought it was really good, but not great. But I thought it was really good. So
I think they're gonna give them a dog collar match.
Really? I was hoping that Willow and Stack got the dog.
I was gonna say they did shoot an angle that, and I think this only aired on like Twitter and YouTube, but they did do an angle where Stat attacked Willow with a chain. So
okay, well I'm wrong.
Either
you guys
a chain
are right.
match or a dog collar match, something like that. So
you could probably figure, but I mean, there will probably be something like that. I'm sure we'll get some sort of like hardcore match because you're not getting a lights out because I think most people figure the lights out match will be Swerve and Hangman. So I don't know.
I saw someone, I think it was in the Voices of Wrestling, our office Slack, suggested this for Mariah and Tony, like a hair versus hair match.
Oh,
I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Because you can be nasty, you can do all that stuff, and you cut off Timeless Tony's hair. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And it transitioned to another character maybe at that point. So.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
that's a good
that.
idea. That's a good idea. Which means it probably won't happen, but it's a good idea. Then we got
You know what Marking didn't like?
Oh,
The
I didn't
next
like
match.
this either. I didn't
Yeah.
like this either. The FTW title match. This match.
Hey, yeah, I thought this match was terrible.
Bad. This was a bad hardcore match, and this was a bad like WWE style hardcore match. I'm tired of the. I don't like these anyways. So, and then I haven't been a big fan of this feud. So,
Yeah.
less said about this.
If it was a little shorter, I would have liked it. It felt like it went on forever, man.
And it was only 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
it was only
God,
10 minutes.
God,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, it just felt long, and
I don't know.
And the most over person in the match wasn't even in the
I would
match.
say, yeah, Taz putting on the Kata Hajime was
Hey, listen,
fun.
listen. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
He
gonna
barely
lie.
got it on. He didn't even get it on, honestly. He just put his arms and just
Yeah.
hang out with Brian Keith for a second. But it was cool.
I didn't like this match, but man, I was losing my
But
shit.
that ending makes you forget about how bad this match was.
Especially Taz building it up on commentary. It's like, I had enough of this shit.
Yeah, I had enough of it.
Yeah, two of the most over people in AEW this past, Dynamite and All In were Big Bill and Jeff Jarrett, which is pretty crazy.
Really odd, right?
Mhm.
Well, you never know.
Try to see what we can do with Big Bill. See what happens.
Oh, one thing that I do appreciate though is that they tell you this match was, no disqualification, no holds barred, and then they just jump the hook. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That I did like. That was like the first thing that popped out. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because normally they go just sit there and wait.
Right. For the run in that you know is gonna happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, then we had the 3-way tag match. This was fine.
I couldn't tell you what happened in this match.
It was all right.
This was fine. I like the ending. The ending was, gave me hope for the tag team division. But yeah, I thought it was fine. It was what it was.
We've seen the spots where the two non-partners will do like another of the team's finishing move.
Yeah.
Like we've seen that before, and I mean it wasn't bad, but it just was a match.
It was a match.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird that the guys had the pink and black on. They had the Bret Hart stuff.
Yeah.
When you knew that the Acclaim does the pinks. Too.
If they would have just picked one of these teams, the match would have been better instead of just having both out there. But everybody must be on the show, right?
Yeah, but then we got the Grizzled GES. So that.
Hey man, listen. I lost my mind for that. I was like, this is AEW, damn it. This is fucking AEW. We're gonna get Grizzled Young Veterans versus FTR. I was like, this is the goddamn company that does stuff.
That'll be so great. That should be.
They should all in. They should do it on all in.
Gibson cutting promos on FTR. Oh, well, let's do this, man. This is what the fuck I wanted, man. This is AEW. This shit here, man. Only this company can do matches like this. Are they even signed?
Yeah, they're signed.
Oh, good.
They've been signed for a while.
Man. I was hyped. I was hyped when that shit happened.
Yeah, they didn't get a graphic though. I don't think they got a graphic.
Mm-hmm.
But I know. I guess they dropped their Rev Pro titles over the weekend too. So
yeah.
A lot of people dropped their Rev Pro titles over the weekend.
Yeah,
like cool.
That was a weird show, by the way. That show's weird, but I know we're not reviewing it, but it's a weird show.
Then what do we have? The Casino
Gauntlet.
Casino Gauntlet. So
this was awesome.
Yeah.
Should this be the all-in signature match?
Yes.
Like you can't this is the third time we've seen this match. Is it the third time this year or when did they debut this match?
Third one this year.
Okay. Because they did one in Daly's place and they did another one.
They did. I think it was in the Forum. That's the match that Ospreay won to get the title shot at Swerve.
And then he won again to get the international title match.
Well, that was the first one. The second one was
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I mean, should this be the signature match? Do they do it all in?
Yes, I think so because it gets you everybody on the show. I like the way this is set up because like they did the thing where Orange Cassidy won to be number one. They explained why you want to be number one so that you can which was important. You can still do the thing where I think we still had 9 guys in the back that hadn't come out yet when the match ended. You can get your surprises, which is what we got. We got real surprises. One of the things that you were in, you had somewhere between 50, 60,000 people in this building, and the just about everybody coming out was over, and you got a pop. And not just like the entrance pop like we got with the Royal Rumble like this last year when we talked about the Royal Rumble with the men's and the women's, where it was a lot of like, It was a lot
no
more.
Pops.
Yeah, it was like no pops. You got like a lot of stuff, but this was so great. Like when Nigel came out, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God. And then they explained
fucking the Bushes played. I was like, wait, what?
We paid for it.
Yeah, and then they showed that thing. I was like, bro, I was screaming, man.
And then
he looked fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
He looked like he was a couple steps slower, but he was doing all his stuff, man. He was a
little sloppy. He was a little slow, but he did all of his stuff. It amazes me that it was the chain wrestling that he kind of messed up. It wasn't like he could still do the handstand in the corner. That's the thing I wouldn't think he would be able to do after 15 years or however long it's been.
And look, he knew all the timing on his lariats and all that stuff. Like
right.
It looked like Nigel McGuinness, man.
It was like
2007 all over again.
And then when we got, like I said, when we got Zack Sabre Jr. and him on that stare off, awesome. That pop,
awesome.
Pop was so great. Like, and the fans knew who he was. That was the other thing. They they got it. That was good. I thought they did a really good job of what.
I was gonna say, whoever decision it was to ditch those LED boards and put the all-in, those things sound like Ring of Honor barricades.
Yeah.
And the way that they were hitting that through, man, it sounded so good, man. I whoever made the decision, great choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
wrestling fans in that crowd, man. Fucking wrestling fans, man.
But that was good. The whole Jarrett story was good. The Hangman story was good. Like, you had so much good stuff in this match. It was. I love it. I think it should be their signature match for this show and be done with it.
Yeah, what I really liked is that with the first two that they did on TV, they established that big names can be in this match. Right. Like, it's not just a lot of, like with the Royal Rumble, you'll get a lot of mid-card fodder in there that has no chance of winning. But when those first two matches, they had a lot of, upper mid-card main event names in there. So that, when they announce this match, and they'll maybe announce a couple of people, but if they have any surprises, they know they're going to be good ones. While I do think it should be the all-in signature match, I still wouldn't mind them doing 1 or 2 a year on television, maybe for like a lesser title shot, like the international title. And at some point, I do think they need to do one of these on television where it ends after like only 4 or 5 guys, just so you can establish at some point that it can end.
Or the first guy, maybe even the first 2, and there's like a flash pin or something, or
maybe
something like that. Where I think
that'll happen years from now, though.
But I was getting ready to say, I think one of the you were talking about like the filler on the Royal Rumble match. The thing with this match is you don't have to have the filler. If you don't have the people, you can end it early, and no one is any wiser. So I think that's.
And I love the fact that they have established, hey, there are no time intervals on like the next pick. Like, it literally can happen anytime. So it's not like you're waiting like 90 seconds, even though sometimes it's a fake, even though it's longer when it comes to Royal Rumble. With this, it's just, hey, we'll just push guys out whenever we want to. And I like that. Yeah. That way you can kind of keep the action going. You know what I mean? If you don't have like your super, super big person that comes out, you can just bring him out. 30 seconds later, let's bring somebody else out.
was
We
good.
talked a long time. We haven't even brought out Ricochet. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way,
The Ricochet debut, yeah.
So I want to say something about that. That dude looked so happy, and that was not the same dude that was in, I would say, WWE the last 2 years. He was into it. You saw, everyone that says, "Oh, well, he has," WWE didn't push him because, he couldn't interact with the crowd. He was out there with 60,000 people, and he was interacting. You saw him. You saw his charisma come out because he is charismatic. Maybe not in the way that some people think, but he is. He looked so good. Like he looked like $1,000,000. So yeah,
He's
I didn't
wrestling
even
Kyle Fletcher on Wednesday, so that should be
Oh my god,
really good.
Oh my god,
That's the thing, man. Like he doesn't like.
Devil's advocate. Devil's
Oh, go
advocate.
Okay.
As excited as I am for Ricochet, and as good as I thought he looked, Josh, because you're right, he kind of cheated a bit because he showed up at a pay-per-view as a surprise in front of.
I understand.
So he cheated a little bit, but
What do you mean cheated? How was that his fault?
No, I'm not saying
but
it's
most
fault,
people
I'm just
knew
saying.
that he was going to be there. I mean,
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like a shock
look,
surprise.
I'm just saying.
Listen,
just
man,
saying.
this dude is not going to be, even though he might get a shot, he's not going to be the world champion in AEW. But
Why not?
I just don't think he's on that level, honestly.
Why
He'll get a
not?
shot.
I just,
Why not?
I think he'll get a shot, but I don't see it. But
Dude,
either way, I think in his.
Remember before Ricochet signed with that evil place? Do y'all not remember?
You sincerely
how he was
see
viewed?
you sincerely see don't be one of those merchants on Twitter who thinks every person's going to be AEW world champion. Everybody cannot be world champion. You think that Ricochet is going to be?
I agree, but I'm saying like there was a point in time when we felt that way about Ricochet. What you know what I mean?
I think so, but I mean we got some heavy hitters. Either way, I think that his skill set, what he's able to bring to the table, can be utilized so much better in AEW than in WWE. So I'm excited to see.
Of course,
what happens with him.
Of course,
Yeah.
you just said that about the whole roster in the WWE. You said that literally about
I don't know
everyone.
about that.
I know about everybody.
LA Knight, you can come to
Damn
AEW.
near.
Or hey,
Damn near.
Rikishi is talking about Jey Uso coming to AEW. You think Jey Uso could be world
Okay,
champion?
I don't know about that.
No.
But.
That's what I'm saying.
The only negative thought I have of this match is that I thought the finish was pretty deflating, at least for me. And it does have me a little worried because they did say, oh, anytime you could use this title shot, which I hope they don't do that, and I hope it's just Christian just coming out tomorrow and saying he wants to wrestle Danielson and all out instead of like
that don't fit the character, Sean. That don't fit the character. He's definitely gonna do the thing that you're afraid of, but I think it's gonna backfire majorly, and it'll just be like one and done, and we're over it.
I hope they get through it, like just get it over with.
Yeah.
We can just move on.
I think this will be the catalyst to finally turn like Luchasaurus. That's what I think. Because the doubt was there.
Luchasaurus?
I'm just saying. Like
they
they teased it all night. You know what I mean?
But they need to turn. If they turn Luchasaurus, they got to turn Nick Wayne too. That's the thing. Because
why?
Because no, you can't just that. What are you gonna do with Luchasaurus as a face?
Who cares what they do with Luchasaurus? It's about the moment with him. You're never gonna push him after that. It's just have him turn.
I think the thing with Christian too is that eventually I think he has to end up as a face because they're gonna do the Copeland and Christian thing. I don't think they're gonna do them as heels. I think when they reunite, they're gonna be baby faces.
Oh no, they'll have to be baby faces. Everyone will be third. No, they have.
I can't lie. I thought he was coming out when Christian showed up. I was like, oh
yeah,
goodness,
I did
is Adam
too.
Copeland good to go? But yeah, that happened.
Maybe Copeland costs him when he cashes in. Maybe that's what they're waiting for.
I don't know, but I'm with you, Sean. Like I don't want none of that shit. But with his character, it wouldn't make sense for him to come out and just challenge somebody. He would definitely do that.
I mean, Christian. He did wrestle Bryan last year in a TNT title match. I think it was on Collision, and he did win. So that gives me hope that this is all just setting up Danielson getting his win back. But we'll see what happens, I guess.
I forgot about that.
Because you could do that on All Out because All Out's going to be pretty stacked. You could do you have a not spectacular world title match? So
especially if you're doing a lights out match between Hangman and
Yeah.
Swerve.
because
Why not do that?
that's gonna main event anyway. So
Hell, didn't they already do this with Christian with Swerve?
Yeah. Well, they did Christian. What was that with Omega at All Out?
mhm.
That he was
Yeah.
the person to get that title match.
All right.
And maybe he's the guy to do that type of stuff where you don't have a strong,
Right.
Right.
you got a stronger match in the main event. He's the guy that
Mhm.
challenges for the title. Maybe that's the deal, and that's fine. That's fine.
Then we had Will Ospreay versus MJF. I was worried MJF was going to win. He did not. He lost. This was a pretty great match. So
I enjoyed
Uh,
the TV match more personally.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, the TV match though is like that's an all-time great TV match. That might be
Man, I feel so weird being the low man on that TV match, right? I went like 4.5 stars on that TV match. Oh,
But
man,
see,
I hated it.
and that's
I
what
hated it.
yeah, you hated it. 4.5 stars.
Right. Some
Uh,
people who get mad at Dave for giving 4 3/4 to whoever the fuck in WWE. Oh, this is a 5-star match.
Unironically though, and not even trying to be funny, my favorite thing about this whole match is Will Ospreay's entrance.
That was pretty cool.
Like that was the most I've ever wanted an Assassin's Creed game in like 10 years. like they need to just go ahead and hire him, bro. That was so well done. Like to have Roger Craig Smith voice Ezio Auditore and like almost induct Will Ospreay into the Assassin. That was awesome for a geek like me. That shit was amazing. And then did you notice during his entrance with like the smokes all around him, he just appears. Like he doesn't walk out there, he just fucking appears out of thin air. It was the coolest shit I ever seen, man. And then the whole crowd sings Elevated, and then he has the fucking tumblers beside him and shit like that. They give him the fist bump and he jumps in the ring like an assassin. I thought it all was so great. Thought that was the best thing about this whole package. All of it. Maybe the best thing on the show.
Really cool.
I love that shit, man. That was one of the things that like the WrestleMania like thing that worked so well, because that was the best WrestleMania entrance that I've seen in years.
It was cool. They didn't go like over like super crazy when it comes to the stage setup. I thought it looked pretty good for what AEW should be doing with the stage. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. I mean, not saying anything wrong with WWE. Like I thought that stage they did, the one in LA, was fantastic. But for AEW, you're not looking for it to be as clean as a WrestleMania setup. And I thought for what they had, I thought it looked really good. So that entrance helped it out a bunch. That Sting coming out as well, I thought that looked really good. I thought they did a good job with that.
But the match itself, I actually, I guess I'm the weirdo, liked it more than the TV match. Somebody posted in the chat, I think Gavin48, I'm going to shout you out. The TV match was a little indulgent for me. I didn't really dig it that much as everybody else did. I thought that, while I rated it the same, I thought this came off a little bit better because the end point was very, very clear. Will Ospreay was hitting that Tiger Driver on this asshole, and then and then sent him packing. You know what I mean? And the only thing that kind of held it back for me was how they executed the Daniel Garcia thing. It's like that was like super WWE. Like fucking Bryce was out of the ring for so long. You know what I mean? He comes out and he takes off the mask. Like, why didn't he just come out early? That was really WWE. But other than that, I fucking loved it, man.
But the crowd loved it.
They popped crazy.
They went. It was not like it was legitimate.
Yeah, they popped crazy for Daniel. Crazy.
But what do you guys think? This is kind of with this. All of these guys willing to take the Tiger Driver. Is this like the craziest thing ever?
Why? Because nobody used to be willing to take
it. And that was like the one move. They're like, we're not doing that. We're not, like, even on the indies, it was like, we ain't doing that. We'll do anything, but we ain't doing that. You're not dropping me on my neck. I mean, they're doing it in a way where most of them are like falling on like the back of their shoulders like they're tucking and they're falling on the back of their
I
shoulders.
don't know, man. MJF landed on his.
Yeah,
like,
I watched
side
it a
of
couple
his head.
times. It seemed like he just took that one.
But I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe all of these guys are willing to take this fucking move. Because that was like the move that you just nobody like just didn't do. So I'm expecting someone to do. What was that move that Kabashi only ever did once? The diamond. It's like he like threw him up, and then he would like it was like a spinning brainbuster.
Yeah, and they kind of just landed.
Down.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called right now.
But that's the only other one I can think of that people would be like, I ain't taking that. But yeah. But anyways, no, this match was awesome.
Yeah. And I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens with Garcia because allegedly, his deal is up in October, and I know a lot of people have said that they expect him to stay, but that's not.
I would think that if he hadn't resigned, that
they wouldn't do all that. The Diamond Head. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
The Diamond Head.
Yeah,
it is.
Diamond. Yeah, Diamond Head.
But I guess how it works out is that if he truly is his deal is up in October, at least you could work it to where the MJF Garcia thing is pretty simple. If Garcia is staying, then they have a match and Garcia wins. If he's leaving, then you have MJF win. So at least in that sense, it will be pretty straightforward with how they.
I know
it.
they need to sign him. They need to keep.
Oh, they need to. They should.
That's a necessity.
I think Wimbly kind of cemented that. Y'all need to keep this dude.
Yeah, like. Anyways, okay, so we got that. Then we had Jack Perry versus.
You skipped something.
No, you're skipping something, sir.
Hey, hang on a second. Before we get into that, before I forget, what do y'all think about the Grand Slam announcement and the Forbidden Door announcement?
Oh, you talking about Forbidden Door being in England?
Yeah,
I think that's good.
What did they say about Grand Slam?
They're doing a Grand Slam next year in Australia. It's in a soccer it's in February. It's in a soccer stadium. I checked the attendance. It's I guess for soccer it's set up for 52,000. Though you think if AEW does a stage like they had on Sunday, then it'll probably be like sub 50. So definitely be less than Wembley. But yeah, they're running a big stadium show in Australia in February.
Oh, it's a stadium show in Australia.
Yeah.
That that doesn't seem like a show that they will put on pay-per-view here in the States, right?
I think it's going to be on pay-per-view
at 5 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time.
Well, it depends because don't forget that Elimination Chamber show was in Perth, and that's on the west coast of Australia, and this one's in Brisbane, which is on the east coast. So I do think it's a little bit of a. I think if they started it, I looked at the.
But they paid $9.99 for that show. That show was on streaming. That's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't it make sense if they're going to have some type of streaming component that this would be a show that you would have on there? Like, people aren't going to have to pay $50 in the middle of the night to watch the show.
Americans paying $50 for that show, no matter how good.
I mean, I'm a nerd.
I am too.
Yeah, but the majority of people. I mean, I'm saying like this feels like this would be a good show to have on a Max or something like that. That it's streaming. You know what I mean?
And I'm curious to see how it does because that is a big building, but it is their first time in Australia, so you'd think they would draw a big crowd. And how many big wrestling shows does Australia get? Not that many. And I guess with Forbidden Door, I do like the fact that they're, even though All In is not in London next year, I do like that they're keeping that August date as like the London date. So I do like that they're keeping it.
I also think it's a better place to do Forbidden Door.
Oh yeah, switching them is definitely a better idea.
Yeah, they with All In July, they had to switch it.
Yeah, well, not even that. Just I think it's a better fit because you probably weren't going to do Forbidden Door. You probably, because of New Japan, you probably can't do Forbidden Door in July. You have to do it like in that weird time. So I think this is a better place for it. So
I guess the only possible downside is that it's going to be like a week or two after the G1 ends. So a lot of those New Japan guys, or at least some of them, will probably be like all beat
that'll
up.
probably be fucking wrecked.
But
No, that'll be fine.
It'll be fine. But you know why it'll be
Yeah.
fine? Because it'll be you'll have all of those people. It'll be a big show. They won't have to do a lot, you know, and it's probably won't just be like. I think one of the reasons why they also did this is it's a lot easier to get the Mexican guys into England than it is to the United States. So it's they probably can just like, hey, let's just get everybody in here and probably have a really big show. So
and to be clear, they didn't actually announce a venue for this. I guess people are speculating it's either going to be Wembley Arena or the O2.
O2 sounds right.
So, all right.
Hey, Dinosaur Avengers in the chat.
Yeah, my boy. I see. Yeah, my boy.
Yeah.
What's up?
Good to see him in the chat.
There he is. All right.
So are we gonna let Markeem go off now?
Yeah.
Y'all go first, man. Y'all go first.
I mean, what Markeem's gonna say is pretty much accurate. This match.
This is a match that I like the build. Again, I like the build. I like the 2 promos that they did, but I just knew that I didn't think this match was going to deliver. I know I watched y'all last week, and Chase tried to say like, "Oh, Britt Baker's good" and stuff like this. I'm not putting everything on Britt Baker, but I didn't see a world where this was going to like blow people away, and I was not surprised at how this match turned out.
I did like Mercedes.
It was a death spot too. It was a death spot.
Yeah.
Still.
I did like Mercedes working the back, and I thought the body slam off the second rope, and then whatever flippy do counter that Britt did later on. I thought those were cool spots. But on the whole, I just thought it was like a really average match in front of a crowd that just really, really wasn't into it. And you know, Brit has never been a good wrestler. Like, I mean, she's had great matches with the right people, but like if you ask me, like if she's a good wrestler, I would say not like in ring, not really. And then I feel like with Mercedes, when she's in there with someone who's not on her level or better, unless it's like a super choreographed match, like I imagine the Ronda Rousey match that she had probably was super choreographed or practiced beforehand. Then it wasn't going to be anything special, and it wasn't. So it wasn't the worst match of the show for me. That's Jericho and Hook, but this was like the second worst match. But I didn't think it was horrible. I just thought it was kind of like just average.
It was very disappointing.
How
I would put it. I would put it. It was very average. It didn't have any juice to it whatsoever. Now Markeem can go off for like 30 minutes about.
All right, the match itself, right? Let me be fair. The match itself, I didn't even think it was bad. Whatever. Britt Baker's terrible. I've been saying that for the longest, like forever. Like I'm no Britt Baker guy. Trust me. Like I didn't even like her promos at one point. I started to turn around to that though, because it wasn't as like corny bad guy. It was like, hey, I'm shooting from the hip. I'm myself. So I like that, but I never was a Britt Baker fan. And I was a Sasha Banks fan, guys. I was a Sasha Banks fan. Here's the problem. I was a Sasha Banks fan. I was a fan of Sasha Banks.
Merchant right here.
Because she had a great match in 2016 with Charlotte Flair on a random episode of Raw, or she had a great Hell in a Cell match with Bayley in 20 whatever the fuck it was, or whatever, the fucking Takeover Brooklyn whatever match. Okay, let's talk about now. And the bottom line is now these people don't care about her. They don't. And it's like a dirty thing to say that these people don't care about this woman. She is like legit. Y'all cannot tell me I'm wrong about this. When she came out with all this pomp and circumstance, fucking Camille on the back of the carriage, all these all these fucking what they call the London Guard, I can't remember their name. All these motherfuckers, it was silent. She stood there and did the CEO dance, and you heard the music really clear. Yeah. When Will Ospreay came out, right? The entire crowd singing Elevated. Yeah, I mean, everybody's excited. Hell, Britt Baker came out to a pop. There was something. Nobody gave a fuck about this woman. All I'm saying is, can we take the kid gloves off now? her promos are bad. They are bad, guys. They are bad. I don't care how much better she comes off because they pivoted from this terrible character being a face to a heel. She is not good at cutting promos. Her character is corny. These people don't care about her. Can we just admit it now? Can y'all just say I was right? Can we do that? I don't care. I don't care that was in the death spot. Because you're right, Josh. You're right. You're right. You're right. I don't care, but I don't care though. I don't care that the match is underwhelming. I care that it was heatless. It should not have been heatless. Fucking Edge, The Big Show, and John Cena followed Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker having one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time.
Don't use my point to put down a
got
black woman. Don't use my point to put down a good black woman like that. Get the hell out of here, Marquine.
And they got the whole arena. They got the whole arena behind them. You know what I mean? They got the whole. She should at least be able to do that. But no, stop it. The Ace King, stop it. They have not gotten better. They have not gotten better. She cuts the same bad promo. See, I'm gonna talk to this nigga directly. I love you, but I gotta do it because no. Because if this was Deonna Purrazzo, you would be sitting here like, yo, those promos are bad. Because they are bad, and her promos are bad. You just like Sasha Banks. This woman is not Sasha Banks anymore. She's not. So let's take the kid gloves off, y'all. Can we do it? Can we take the kid gloves off? That's all I'm asking. Now, can we just talk about her? Can we just talk about her like she's anybody else now? I like Sasha Banks too. Mercedes Moné has been kind of a dud. Has been a dud. She's in there with Britt Baker. Can we all acknowledge whether you think Britt is good or bad? Before she got there, Britt Baker was the most over woman on this roster. Can we agree? Can we agree? Can we all agree on this? There's no reason that both of them, if she's the star and the character that people act like she is, they go out there and have a heatless match. There's no reason. Let's take the gloves off, man. This shit has been a flop. It has been a flop. And I'm done. Because I am right. And there's no argument against that shit. If you want to say her promos are better than I'm giving her.
Jim agrees with you, so that's the argument against it.
If you want to say I'm being too hard on her promos, that's cool. That's fine. Whatever. But this whole Mercedes Moné thing has been a flop. Period. I'm done. That will be the last time I do this. That'll be the last time I do this.
This is a guy in the Discord, by the way, join our Discord. This is a guy in Discord say that he don't care about none of this stuff, and it just goes on a 10-minute passionate rant again about the monthly rant about Mercedes.
It's not that I don't care. I'm saying I've lost faith in pro wrestling being what I want it to be. I've lost all faith in that. That's out the window. But I still want it to be what I want it to be. I just don't think it'll ever be what I want it to be.
You and John Moxley both.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have much energy. I thought the match was fine. I'm moving on with my life. But Marquinhos is going in. He's still going in.
No,
you said you're done. You said you were done.
But I await the counter argument to what I said. I just await it. I await it. I want to know what y'all got to say. This shit's
you just shut my man's down when he said that she got better on her promos.
Because they like Sasha Banks. I do too. You want to give her the benefit of the doubt. But that stops now. That stops now, bro.
I agree with you that this said a lot. I agree with you that this should have been a far better thing than it was. It wasn't. It was super disappointing. But you said it all. You said everything. So I don't know what you want anyone to say.
Let me see it with somebody else. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Put in there with Thunder Rosa and let's see what happens.
I will say that. I give you that, Brandon. Because by all means, man, if they got a feud with Thunder Rosa and she has another heatless match, come on, bro. They put her in there with Jamie Hayter.
For sure.
If they put her in there with Jamie Hayter and somehow they have a heatless match, come on, bro.
Right.
Come on, man. And like everybody talks about how good the Sheeta match was, and it was, but it still was heatless. It still was heatless. I'm just saying, bro. People don't care. People don't actually care about her, man. The way y'all think they do.
Let me ask you: Do you think it would help if she lost?
What you mean?
Like if she took a pin?
No.
Do you think it would help like rehab her?
Yeah, like you think that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't.
Especially if it was somebody like surprising, if it was like
Abaddon.
Not Abaddon.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Not Abaddon.
But yeah, hey Josh, you might be right. That might actually work. She might need something like that.
She might need to, just because everyone's like, she's gonna win, and so who cares?
I'll tell you one thing.
It's just the way she's packaged, man. It's not working. It's not working.
With Britt Baker being such a huge Chris Jericho fan, like, why hasn't she gone and asked him, like, hey, what should I do to switch my character up? Because she cannot continue to be DMD for kind of moving forward. Like, that character's kind of played out at this point. She's got to change something up about the character versus being DMD.
Oh, no, I'm not letting her off the hook either. Like, no, sir. She was terrible. She was awful.
I would also with the smarter fans, has Brit in the last couple of months used up all of her goodwill in some ways with a lot of the
as far as like all the news and stuff that's coming out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't really like that stuff. Doesn't do anything for me. Like
doesn't mean
you don't gotta get along with your coworkers. You gotta work together. But then you hear like Jamie Hayter's got issues. Like what was going on? Like I don't know.
Because I mean, there's been rumors for a long.
I'm not backstage,
time,
so I don't know what the hell's going on.
So just saying, I wonder if that has some stuff to do with it too. But anyways, now we get on to this stupid coffin match because it was
stupid. It wasn't stupid.
Hey man,
it was fine. It was short. It was fine. It was short. It was another hardcore match on the show.
Yeah,
but I thought it was fine.
I mean, Sting came out. That saved it.
That was worth it. That was
very cool.
So
I don't really have a lot to say about the match. In its moment, I enjoyed it.
This shit could have been an episode of Dynamite, bro.
Like, for sure.
I kind of agree. And like those glass spots were wasted. I do think that. I think that apparently their time was cut. So
yeah.
So, and then we had
Okada and Marty Scurll went too long once again.
Yeah.
And had to cut another match.
But then we had the main event: Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland.
Match was awesome.
Match was awesome.
Excellent.
Swerve has definitely grown into the spot, I would say. Definitely.
He brought out UGK Bundy and West Side Gun.
Good, yep. And
DJ Who Cares? Who the fuck cares? But he brought those two guys out to Wimbly. I thought that was so dope, man. That was so cool to see. Even, obviously having 50,000 people sing Final Countdown was dope. Course, but just the fact that Swerve brought out those guys,
he knew he had to do something. He had to do something.
And granted, the remix that I heard on, I didn't think it was all that great, but just the fact that it happened, I don't know. I thought both those entrances were really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw Bun B lost my mind. I ain't gonna lie.
It set the stage. It definitely set the stage for what the match was going to be. So I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. I think Danielson as champion will be interesting. We'll see how long he holds the belt. I do think, and I know Danielson probably doesn't want to hold the belt for very long, that him as champion could help AEW. We'll see if it does or not, but I think it could help. I think that's one of the issues that they've had is I think that you have a fan base that wants certain guys to be in certain spots, and those guys are not in those spots. I think that's been one of the problems, and I think that's guys that don't want to be in those spots. So I think that's been one of the issues. But I thought the match was really great. I thought that they didn't overplay the whole the kids and wife being there.
Reed Danielson, all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I didn't think they overplayed it. I thought it was just enough. My wife walked out and walked in while I'm watching, and she's like, "They have another kid?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they have another kid." So,
yeah, man, this is one of my favorite matches of the year. Behind with off the top of the head, behind him and Ospreay, behind him and Sabre, and behind Ospreay and Takeshita. This is probably right there with all that.
And Marquis, I have to ask. So, how would you now? Obviously, a different kind of match, but since you saw it live, I have to ask: how do you compare? If you're saying which one's above the other, where do you rank Swerve Danielson with the Sting retirement match?
All right, see that one
because they're totally different kinds of matches.
That one in the moment of being there live was just different. If I was watching at home, I think this match would clear the Bucks and Sting match.
It's its own thing, man. It's just its own thing, bro. I can't. But as a match, I thought this was better. This was better.
Better wrestling match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this more than Danielson and Ospreay.
Oh, really?
That match, I enjoy that match. I think it's really good, but it's not a match that I immediately think of when I'm thinking of the top matches of the year. I think that Ospreay and Takeshita, I enjoy that one. Obviously, I'm there live, so I'm a little bit more biased on that. But then Ospreay and Swerve, I think about that match more than I think about the Danielson Ospreay match. And then honestly, this one will probably be that as well. Can't say it's better. Technically, it's probably not better, but more memorable, the one that sticks out more, this match would stick out amongst the top that I've seen this year for sure.
For what it's worth, Cage Match still has it as the highest rated AEW match of all time. Just barely above the second place match, which is Danielson and Ospreay. So,
all right. So my boy Ed brought up Ospreay and Oku. You're making me think now. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's about on that level. That's about where I have it. But I forgot about that. That's a good one.
The one from this year?
Yeah. Did you see it?
No, I'm only thinking of the previous one they had.
Oh, brother, watch the one from this year.
Really?
Oh,
that other one was that's one of the best storytelling matches of all time.
Every bit as good as that one. Every bit as
I
good.
gotta watch it then.
I don't know if it was better. I've seen some people say it was better. I don't know about that, but it's at least on that level.
Right. I think that by the end of this match, I felt, even though he lost the belt, Swerve was a really good champion. You want to give the guy a belt to maybe make him more than what he was when he got the belt. I look back at his counterpoint. I look back at Hangman's, and I thought that Hangman winning the belt was the apex. And I don't think he got any bigger with after that. Even though I enjoyed the Danielson title matches, I enjoyed the Punk title match, but I don't think even the Adam Cole stuff I enjoyed. But I don't think that his star rose any higher than it was when he won that belt, or even right before he won that belt, versus Swerve, who I was into Joe's title reign when Swerve beat him. And to the point where I'm okay, a fan in Philly, show me what you got. That was how I felt. And I felt his title reign definitely kind of ascended him, at least in my eyes, ascended him to being one of those top guys within the company. So I thought it was a success overall when it comes to his championship reign. Even though it wasn't that long, I thought it helped him out a lot.
Yeah, the way he comes off now is just he comes off so much bigger than he did when he won that title. And I think I come on here every fucking 2 weeks and praise Will Ospreay, but I got to do it again. I feel like Will Ospreay has a lot to do with that. That whole program, that whole title match made Swerve seem
the match. I mean, he was able to hang with Ospreay. That said, that said a lot. I think so.
It's the best wrestler of our generation, man. I know people don't like, his style. I know people don't like things about what he does. I know people. It's like the old psychology of pro wrestling always battles with like how people feel about Will Ospreay. But I feel like even his staunchest of haters got to give it up that he definitely cares about everything he does, man. And there's not many wrestlers that are like that at all.
We used to say that about the Bucks, but
I think they still care. I just think it's bad.
Yeah,
I think they still care.
maybe if Owen shows up, though, it'll help him spark some interest in them again.
There
Man,
you
that's
go.
not happening, man. Can y'all
No,
stop
it's not
doing
happening.
this?
It's not happening at all. It's not happening at all. I'm not banking on it, but you never know. You never know. You know.
And I thought they did the Hangman spot in this main event. I thought it worked in the sense that if that had led directly to the finish, it would have hurt the match, at least for me. But Hangman came into this thing, sort of distracted Swerve for a bit, and then Danielson did hit the knee, but he kicked out, and then they kept wrestling for a couple more minutes. So I was happy that wasn't directly leading to the finish, and it works for setting up whatever they're going to do.
What I would have liked even more, Sean, what I would have liked even more is that the bell rings and then Hangman jumps the barricade and then security just tackles him. He's like, "No, you're not having this match. Fuck you." No, I would have liked that even more. But for what they did, it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't mind. I generally don't like interference, but I don't mind it if it's like it happens and then it doesn't directly lead to the finish and the match just keeps going for several more minutes, because it's like it threw Swerve off his game, but it's not like he got pinned right away. So I thought that was,
and it fit the story.
And also,
like him not coming out.
Hangman has been so great that like he just sells this so well. Like, did y'all see him? We didn't even bring that up. Did y'all see him in the Casino Battle Royal? Just his face. He looked crazy. And then when he lost, it was like he couldn't even believe it. Like, this shit wasn't possible. Like, I failed. You mean to tell me somebody else won this match? He's gonna unacceptable.
He's gonna kill Jarrett at some point. He's gonna kill Jarrett, like kill him, like dead.
That might be how they write him off TV.
Yeah, that might be, because he might. I was when he got hit with the chair shot with the guitar. That was my first.
That was good. That was good.
I was like, oh, he's gonna kill him now. It's gonna be like not okay. So
now, Heyman's the most interesting character in all of pro wrestling, right? Period.
But no, man, I thought this was a great match. I thought the ending was pretty damn sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the best feel-good endings you can really see on a big-time show like this.
mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people were comparing to the New Orleans WrestleMania, and I'm not going to say which one was better. Whatever. I enjoy both of them, but
I will. Sunday. I'll do it for you, Brandon. Sunday was better.
Match was a better match. I think it was a
better match for sure. Yeah,
better match. I don't think it was a better moment, but it was a better match.
Moment. You know why, Josh? Because we knew the score. Yeah, we were all happy, but we knew they never.
Yeah, we were all happy.
we knew that place would never get behind Bryan Danielson the way they should. We all knew that. I was happy.
Man. I would say 90 minutes before we knew that the fucking Undertaker was going to beat Brock Lesnar. It didn't happen. So
yeah.
Anyway, this was better. I know it's hard to say that because WrestleMania. I don't care.
It's no people get mad if you say that, not because they got mad when Brian said that he liked this match better,
right?
Because his kids and his wife were there. I would say that for us, for his fans, that the WrestleMania match was a bigger deal because it was a bigger deal for us. I don't think it was a bigger deal for him. I think this was a bigger deal for him. So yeah,
You know what? Fair. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that Swerve no selling that knee spot of the match. That was awesome. He bounced off and just brushed his shoulder. That's everything that he's improved on, man. He seems so much more sure of himself, man.
Top rope dragon suplex is awesome too.
Yeah, no, tiger suplex.
Tiger suplex, thank you.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways, I think we've gone an hour and a half. I'm sure Chase will scream at us for going But he's not here. He's not here.
Yeah.
He's out having fun. That's why he's not here. He's out having fun.
Bros,
Was that everything? Though?
What?
We was talking about Monday Night Raw.
No, I'm saying, was that everything? I'm just asking. I don't know.
Oh, you want to preview Bash to Berlin? I don't have Peacock, so I will not be watching.
Oh, I thought about it and I was like,
Oh, I don't have to watch this one. I don't have to watch this one.
That's 2 weeks from now. No,
that's 2 weeks from now. We still have a ways.
Good.
We still have a ways. We'll let you know. And then you can yell at us. So, anyways, all right. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you, Sean, for we didn't say that when we started that. Replacing Chase.
Appreciate you.
Because Chase at the last minute was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be there." We were like, Chase. So, but he should be back in 2 weeks. I don't have the special things that Chase does, so no nice little video. So, but anyways, thank you everybody. Thank you for watching. Remember the Patreon. I'll try to remember to put a link.
We don't got no Patreon. Unless you're getting some side money that we don't know about. Give us a couple dollars, cuz. Give us a couple dollars. Josh, Joe Budden.
I got medicine. I got medicine head. No, not the Patreon. The Discord. I'll put the Discord link. I'll put the Discord link in the. And no, I don't have a Patreon. My wife was like, you should. I'm like, no. She's asked me about that.
Let her know that when we get a little more followers, y'all gonna pay us.
She follows like people in France that rebuild like chateaus and stuff, and they all have Patreons for some reason. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And she's like, is that something you guys could do? And I'm like, yeah, we could do it. But I said that's a little bit more involved. And she's like, what? And I said, we'd have to be doing more stuff for it to be like
we have to release audio and also
we'd have to be like
write-ups and
reviewing
stuff.
Reviewing stuff, like reviewing more stuff. I mean, it'd be
we can figure some stuff. We can brainstorm a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it'd be more geeky stuff.
We gotta do a Q&A though. We gotta do.
I know. We keep saying we're gonna do that, and we don't. Maybe the next. Maybe.
One more thing. Go Birds.
You're positive about this season? You're excited about this season?
I'm hopeful.
Lukewarm. I'm lukewarm on this season, man.
I think I'm more hopeful than you are, and I should not be hopeful at all because there's no way they're three-peating. If they're three-peating,
are you kidding me?
I
have more faith in your team.
They're far and away the best team. Far and away.
Well, that's hard. That's hard. It's hard though. This is not,
I mean, no one's ever done it. So.
My team has not been in the Super Bowl forever. God damn.
You like the your team's the former of my friends in Houston's favorite team that they now.
We keeping them jerseys. You can't get them back. Sorry. That's our legacy.
My best friend, when they went to the Super Bowl, man, he was like the only person in Houston that was like, "Nah, fuck these dudes. I'm rooting against them."
He got in the most dramatic fashion. He got his wish.
It still hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, that's the 1 yard one. That's the
that's
the Mike Jones. Fuck him.
Anyways, okay, we're done. We're done for real now. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Later.